We move to our question paper, item 2, and I call on the Honourable Member for Arbory, Castletown and Malew to ask question 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to ask the Chief Minister what assessment has been made of the short and long-term impact of A, placing a legal requirement on minors to wear masks on public transport, and B, articulating an expectation rather than a rule in relation to the wearing of masks in schools. Thank you.
Chief Minister to reply.
Mr. President, evidence on the ability of mask wearing to reduce the community spread of COVID-19 has been systematically appraised and published by multiple world agencies, including the World Health Organization and, indeed, the UK Health Security Agency. This evidence has been taken into account by the Council of Ministers and Tynwald in determining the sequential policy responses to COVID-19 over the course of the pandemic. Mr. President, use of masks is one element of a comprehensive approach to reducing COVID-19 transmission through the use of non-pharmaceutical interventions. There has been regular discussion and debate in the Council of Ministers regarding the strength of recommendations and impact of legal requirements and mandates, including the ability to enforce the wearing of masks. Determining the approach to recommendations or mandates is not one which is amenable to evidence or policy assessment. Whilst it would be possible for a literature search to be undertaken to identify and compare approaches from other countries, these are very varied, have often not been subject to formal evaluation and publication, and are context-specific, such that they could not be assumed to be transferable here. Accordingly, it is not possible to usefully assess the short-term, and certainly not the long-term, since a long-term data set does not yet exist, impact of different grades of recommendations and or legal mandating of any interventions.
Supplementary, Mr. Moorhouse.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Chief Minister. Given the level of challenges and the minimal usage, in addition to the current lack of enforcement, for how much longer will these legal requirements and expectations remain in place?
Chief Minister to reply.
Mr. President, we are constantly assessing the need for our measures to remain in place, and I expect that I will update both Tynwald and the community on our plans in the near future.
Mr. Moorhouse, supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Chief Minister. Has there been any consideration of the legal implications of a majority of our young people ignoring legal requirements and government expectations? And has any adjustment to the legal position and the expectation statement been considered given the current position? Thank you.
Chief Minister to reply.
As I said, Mr. President, we're constantly assessing what is happening in the community. We have made clear our position both in levels of legal requirements and indeed levels of expectations. Honourable members will note that cases are currently coming down, but we continue to pay close attention to what is happening in the community.